fucking with me. Hey, what's going on?
You just did the lunching?
That's what I'm doing. Just pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adoption for agenda for a regular meeting. Under the provisions of the public meeting law of the state of Missouri, the board must adopt by roll call vote an agenda that includes the time, date, place, and tentative agenda for the meeting. A copy of the notice and agenda for this meeting was posted on Monday, June 13, 2016, at the Administration Center, 1005 Waterford Drive, Florissant, Missouri. At the same time, copies of the notice and agenda were mailed to major radio, television stations, to 4 newspapers, to all municipalities, schools in the district, and posted on the district website. Motion to adopt the agenda.
I move that we adopt the agenda, taking out item number 9.
I second.
It's been moved by Ms. Hogshead and second by Mr. Chabot to accept the agenda but take out number 9, which would be our recess. All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Mr. Ebert?
Aye.
Ms. Hart?
Aye.
Dr. Graves?
Aye.
Secretary votes aye. Ms. Hogshead?
Aye.
Dr. Thurman?
Aye. Adoption of agenda for closed executive meeting. Section 610.021 of Missouri State provides for discussion of certain agenda items in a closed meeting. Notice of the proposed closed meeting, including the agenda items to be discussed, was posted. The board, by roll call vote, must authorize holding the closed meeting and approve the proposed agenda by reference to each subject to be discussed. The agenda for the closed meeting is personnel, 610.021.3, and legal, 610.021.1. Motion to adopt the agenda for closed meeting.
I move that we adopt the closed executive meeting agenda.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Chabot and second by Dr. Graves to adopt the agenda for closed session.
Mr. Ebert? Aye. Ms. Hart?
Aye.
Dr. Graves?
Aye.
Secretary votes aye. Ms. Hogshead?
Aye.
Dr. Thurman?
Aye. Okay. Selection of board director. On June 13th, a special meeting by the board voted to appoint Keith Brown as director of the Board of Education to complete the term of Paul T. Morris, who resigned from the board effective June 7th, 2016. Mr. Brown will serve the remainder of the term until April 2017. Mr. Brown recently served on the board from April of 2013 to April of 2016. Also, on behalf of the Board of Education, we'd like to thank Mr. Morris for his service and dedication to the Ferguson-Florissant School District. At this time, we need to swear in Mr. Brown come forward.
How about this right now? Then after that, since we
Do
returned.
you want to face the board?
Also last year.
Okay. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of school director
discharge the duties of school director
in and for school district number R2,
in and for
school district
R2,
County of St. Louis,
County of St. Louis,
State of Missouri,
State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
according to law,
according to law.
so help me God.
So help me God. Would you like to see if you
We
were?
hadn't erased this, so.
You have a speech with it. No, am I supposed to? No, you do that too.
That's what she wants.
Paul, would you come up, please? Thank you. We want to take this to you.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, you want to give a speech?
Do you guys have any words?
I was gonna use the other thing, but I can do it now. I just,
This is your time.
I can do that. Do that. First, I'd just like to thank the patrons of the district, the staff, the board, especially the board for their support over the last 5 years. It's been a eventful 5 years, shall we say. It's been good times and bad times, hard times, but we have weathered the storm, and I believe that with our selection of Dr. Davis, we have certainly hit the nail on the head and headed in the right direction. It has been a pleasure to work with you the past year, and I wish you nothing but the best in the future. And it's been fun. I'll miss being on the board. I miss it already. You know, it's not, I get to sit in the bleachers now. You know? So, but I will do that, and be happy to help in any way I can in the future. Secondly, I'd like to clarify why I resigned. No, I did not do anything wrong. I did not get in trouble. I did not have to resign for any reason whatsoever. I chose to resign after talking to my friends and my family, and to devote more time to my race for the 68th district here in Florissant. And I'll be on the ballot in November, and appreciate any support that you can give me between now and then. And that is the reason I resigned. So, I should have made that clear in my letter. Saved a lot of grief. I had somebody stop me today and goes, "Well, what happened?" And so I told him, "Oh, that makes sense." You know, I've had other people say, "Well, I kind of figured that's what it was." And, but it's, again, been a real pleasure being on the board, and I really wish you all the best of luck in the future. So, big things like this. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now we all know. Okay, nomination of the Board Assistant Treasurer. At the April 20th board meeting, the Board of Education recognized electing members and individuals to various board offices. At that meeting, Ms. Margie Real was elected to the office of Assistant Treasurer of the Board of Education. The Assistant Treasurer of the Board of Education is a position traditionally held by the Executive Secretary to the Board of Education and the Superintendent. Since then, Ms. Real has retired at the end of the school year. So now we are so blessed to have Ms. Heike Janice, who was hired to succeed Ms. Real in the Executive Secretary's position, and it is recommended that she be elected to the position of Assistant Treasurer.
I move that we nominate Ms. Peggy Janice to the assistant secretary.
I second.
It's been moved by Ms. Hogshead and seconded by Mr. Brown that we elect or nominate Ms. Heike Janice as the Assistant Treasurer.
I'm tired.
I have to think about it.
Mr. Ebert.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mrs. March.
Aye.
Dr. Graves.
Aye.
Secretary votes aye. Hogshead.
Aye.
And Dr. Thurman.
Yes. Thank you and welcome. We're so happy. this time, we're going to have an MSBA update. This portion of the meeting has been allocated to show a short video from the Missouri School Board Association to provide a report of current activities and events that may be of special interest to our board members and to the community. This is something new that we've added to the agenda, and it's coming from the Missouri School Board Association, and we thought it would be very informative to you and to the board as to what's going on with our state legislators and through our Missouri School Board Association, which we are affiliated with. It's a 3-minute video.
Give us 5 minutes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Missouri School Boards Association. Board report for the month of June. We thank you for the opportunity to share some news and information during a few minutes of your board meeting. We begin with an update on the Raise Your Hand for Kids campaign. Supporters of the effort have submitted far more signatures than the constitutional requirement to put the tobacco tax increase to a public vote. If passed, the tobacco tax increase will fund the expansion of early childhood education and health programs in Missouri. Missouri currently has the lowest tobacco tax in the country at just 17 cents per pack, compared to the national average of $1.61. The proposal would raise the tax by 60 cents a pack, phased in over 4 years. Once fully phased in, this initiative will generate roughly $300 million annually. The proposal requires that at least 75% of the money will fund early childhood education programs. MSBA Executive Director Melissa Randall participated in a recent news conference announcing the submission of the signatures, and she says Missouri's investment in early childhood education is paltry compared to other states.
And Missouri is at the bottom tier of the states in terms of our investment in early childhood education. We also are the very bottom of the list in terms of cigarette tax. We need to fix that problem and get our priority state and let our children be a higher priority in our state than cheap cigarettes.
Research shows that investment in high-quality early childhood education lowers high school dropout rates, reduces crime, cuts the cost of social services, and improves the health and academic achievement of children, translating into savings for taxpayers. If the necessary signatures are validated by the Secretary of State's office, the proposal will appear on the November ballot. The 2016 regular session of the Missouri General Assembly is now history. No single education issue grabbed the headlines in the final weeks of the session this year, but numerous proposals affecting K-12 education passed, including an omnibus education bill, Senate Bill 638, that includes numerous provisions, according to Associate Executive Director Mike Reed.
This year, the bill that was moving through was the civics education bill that was sponsored by Senator Jeannie Riddle. That bill says that students, when they graduate, before they graduate from high school, must take a civics test, a 100-question civics test, like the citizenship test. The way that this bill was changed this year was it includes those questions, can be included in the government and American government and Missouri Constitution as it is taught in the 9th and 10th grades. So all of that will be rolled into one test, and so that was the civics test that was moving through, and a number of pieces of legislation got put on that.
The bill also creates a task force on dyslexia screening and a requirement for high school students to take CPR training, among other provisions. The state budget approved by the legislature includes a $70 million increase in the foundation formula and a $5 million increase in student transportation. One of the major bills passed by the General Assembly this year would make it easier to fully fund the foundation formula by reinstating a cap on growth of what's called the state adequacy target. Governor Nixon vetoed that bill, but the veto was overridden prior to the end of the session. Among the issues that did not pass this year was legislation that would have put additional restrictions on the school start date. The General Assembly also passed about $80 million worth of tax breaks that were not accounted for in the budget. MSBA is sponsoring a visit to Washington, D.C. this summer. It's an opportunity for board members to meet with members of our congressional delegation to discuss federal education issues that are important to public schools. That trip is scheduled for July 5th through 7th. Check the MSBA website for details if you're interested in making that trip to Washington, D.C. Registration for the 2016 MSBA Annual Conference in cooperation with the Missouri Association of School Administrators opens this month. This year's event is scheduled for September 29th through October 2nd at the Lake of the Ozarks. We'll have another outstanding lineup of keynote speakers and more than 100 breakout sessions, all designed to improve the leadership skills of school board members and administrators. You can register for the annual conference on the MSBA website. That's it for this month's edition of the MSBA Board Report. Thanks for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and so long from Columbia.
I stole the show.
At this time, this portion of the meeting is allocated for the board to provide an update of current activities and events in the district that may be of special interest to board members and to the community. We're going to start with Mr. Ebert.
Hi, everyone. Of course, I've been on vacation, so that's probably the best thing about June and July. I've got a financial update. The finance office staff has been working this month to finalize budget for 16-17 school year. Chief Financial Officer will be presenting that information later tonight. Happy to report that we anticipate a balanced budget next school year. That's item one. Number two, external auditors have been working in the district this week and this week and next to perform their preliminary audit review. They will be reviewing expenditures and internal controls to ensure that the district is in compliance with the state and federal guidelines. Number three, 40 students from Bermuda, Cool Valley, and Griffith School are attending summer camp at the Emerson YMCA free of charge, thanks to coordinated efforts through Health Schools Health Community Grants. Thanks go out to our grant wellness coordinator, Cedric Brown, the Emerson YMCA grant coordinator, Peter Nelson, and our Bermuda PE teacher, Carl Davis from Bermuda, who coordinated this opportunity for our students. The students are loving the camp and enjoying the field trips. Number four, the summer feeding program is underway at our Airport Central, Griffith, Holman, Johnson Wabash, Robinwood, Walnut Grove, Cross Keys, Ferguson Middle, McClure, South Berkeley, and the Administration Center. There is a schedule of times and locations posted on the district website. This program provides a free lunch to all children up to the ages of 18 who live in the community. Parents who bring their children are welcome to pay to eat. Many thanks go out to our food service staff and Aramore for coordinating this effort. That's all I have.
Thank you. Keith? Mr. Brown, I should say.
Well, I think perhaps I should say I'm delighted to be back. When this opportunity came up, it was so simple for me to say yes, because I wanted to come back. I wanted to, again, be of help in any way that I can. I really don't have anything to say because I obviously didn't receive any information for obvious reasons, but I'm glad I'm here.
Welcome. Ms. Hart?
Good evening, everyone. It's certainly been a busy couple of months since I've been on the board, and I do appreciate the board, Dr. Davis, and the community administrators staff for supporting me and welcoming me. It's a great pleasure. And I've completed my certification for the beginning training, and now I'm going to do the advanced training in student achievement, so I'm going to pursue that. The district is continue to engage in the community in a variety of ways. We had a great time honoring our retirees at the Ferguson Community Center, and we'd like to thank the city of Ferguson for helping making that possible. District leaders had an opportunity to attend the Summer Institute for Excellence in Education at Washington University. Thanks to our partnership with Washington University Institute for School Partnership, through the generous funding for local donors, through the Greater St. Louis Community Foundation. Today, our district students received a total of 1,000 books for their personal home libraries and enjoyed time reading with volunteers through the generosity of Harris Stowe State University and the International Literacy Association. And finally, the district is offering at no cost to participants free meals and access to libraries at several locations. This effort will continue through most of the summer and is tied to our reading campaign. More information on these activities is available on our district website for more information. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you. Dr. Gray?
Good evening, everyone. My portion is student achievement. We had a successful end of the school year, which ended on May 25th. Graduation took place on Sunday, May 22nd. We had, from McClure South Berkeley, we had 102 graduates. From McClure, we had 216. From McClure North, we had 342, which was a total, including the Missouri option and early grads. We had a total graduates of 660 for our school district this year. Summer school started on Monday, June 6th at the following sites: Johnson Wabash, Cross Keys, and McClure High School. We received a check for $89,788 from the North County Collaborative to support the following 5 summer school initiatives. We are doing Summer Melt, which is a program intended to prevent attrition among college-attending seniors, particularly those from low-income families. We are doing Summer Job Focus, where counselors at each high school provide job attainment to support 2016 graduates who do not plan to attend college in the fall, and they're projected to serve 75 students. It's to fund the transition program, and it's that opportunity to ease the transition from early to middle school, by allowing incoming students to become familiar with the facility, teachers, and classmates. This program will target development of the following skills: goal setting, organization, test taking, and team building. And we're hoping to serve 75 students in that program. Then we're also having a middle school summer school program where 2 additional weeks of classes will be provided for 7th and 8th graders to avoid any retention. 185 students are projected to be served. And then, as Connie said, the summer school libraries.
Thank you. Mr. Chabot.
Welcome, everybody, and happy summer to everyone as well. Being summertime, this is when my portion of the strategic plan is infrastructure and processes. And being summer, this is when facilities kind of kicks into high gear and gets most of the work done in the buildings. Mr. O'Neill provided to me a list of all the summer projects that are scheduled for the summer. I made copies of them and I put them out here on the table if you did not receive a copy of it, because as you can see, it's a pretty extensive list, and I will not read this to you, okay? And many of the items that they're on the consent agenda that they're also going to be doing this summer. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
I have the talent portion of the strategic plan, and as you can imagine, this time of year is very busy for that department. They have been busy hiring Dr. Davis's new cabinet members and leaders for his departments, and we are also busy replacing teachers and adding to our staff for next year. So, like Rob, I have pages, and I won't share that with you either or bore you.
We have time.
There's a reason I eliminated item 9.
Okay. My part of the strategic plan was discipline, and I'm passing that on to Mr. Brown. So I will pass that down to you. Let you see the committees you're on. But I will report from the discipline data that, again, this month compared to last year, discipline is down. We're going to keep working to make sure that it declines every month. And we do everything that we can to make our teaching and learning environments a place where students can have more time on task and more time learning than teachers having to discipline. So we look forward to that. Also, I would like to, I had an opportunity to go to a leadership training in Tantera. As a matter of fact, Dr. Graves and Ms. Harge and Mr. Morris went. And so when we go to these Missouri School Board Association meetings, we spend a lot of time in class and learning different things that we can bring back to the district and we can use. They're very valuable. As you heard, we have another conference coming up in the fall. And each year, it seems that that conference gets better and better in providing us with information that we can use here in the district. So I'm very happy that we are members of Missouri School Board Association and that we take advantage of it. Also at that meeting, Dr. Graves and I both received our advanced and our master certifications. We were recognized for it even though we had received it long before. And we're happy to also state that Ms. Harge is working on her advanced certification. And so we will be celebrating that pretty soon. Also, our district, which is one of the agenda items, but I just want to say we also won an award, a governance award. So our district is we're working very hard to make sure that not only we're doing staff development for our teachers and our employees, our administrators, that we as well we're getting our staff develop our board, board certifications and we're learning as well. Okay, I'd also like to congratulate Dr. Davis. He was awarded one of the Nehemiah, what is it called? It's called the Nehemiah program. And he was honored for, let me find the name, the educational impact. And he received an award. I don't know if he brought it so that everybody could see it, but I just wanted to say congratulations to you. And the work you're doing in the community and what you're doing, this was specifically for Ferguson. So just wanted to say congratulations to him. And I think that's it for me. Dr. Davis.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. So the Nehemiah Award was really to recognize Ferguson-Florissant for beginning to move us in the right direction. It's a group effort, and I just really appreciate the board, the administrators and teachers and support staff and everybody who's a part of our One District United. No one person can do this alone, and I just appreciate all of the work that everybody's putting into it. So I'm really excited about the direction we're going in. Still a lot of work to do, but I think we are beginning to see the second leg of the elephant be devoured. A couple things. We had our first annual Summer Institute. We had gotten a grant of about $500,000 from the St. Louis Community Foundation through some anonymous donors, and we're excited about that partnership with Washington University and the Santa Fe Center for Transformational Leadership. And the exciting part was we spent 7 full days working diligently on areas like appreciative inquiry, action research, transformational leadership, and I did a piece on using data to improve learning. And I am happy to say I was approved to be an adjunct professor at Washington University, so we'll be doing a class this fall on the using data piece, and we'll continue to move the work forward for our district. That partnership is really important because it's about our administrators learning together and leading together. And I think principals, all leaders, have to be learners themselves. And so I think that that was a great success. We did a debrief session, had surveys, because we know we can make it better for next year, and we'll keep moving it forward. So I just really appreciate all the administrators for the work they did. We have quite a few administrators and people in this room right now, so I just like all of the team members to stand. All team members, please stand. All of you all on the walls and all around the room, please stand. I really appreciate them and all the work they put into it. It means a lot to have people who don't mind working hard for children. So July 10th through 15th, group will be going to Harvard University for HELP this summer, and that problem of practice centers around the concerns we've heard from the community around discipline. And what we expect to do is to go there and work really hard and come away with some actionable items that we can implement for next school year that will begin to respond to some of those concerns. I'll tell you right now that if the answer were easy, I would put it in a jar and I would sell it. But it's not that easy. But we will work hard to figure out what is the best way to deal with some of these concerns we have in our schools. I am excited about some new principals in schools. Some people have been moved to different places for match reasons, and I think that's going to really have a great impact on lifting the standard and holding to it. And we have some new assistant principals as well, and instructional support leaders. So it's really a team effort, and I'm excited about that. So we will be back that Sunday, and we will keep hitting the ground running and getting ready for the coming school year. We have a board retreat coming up in July as well, so we want to make sure that from the board to me to everybody who's involved, that we are on the same page about where we're going. I don't want any stone unturned, and we'll do everything we can to make sure we keep the community informed about what we're doing. And speaking about the summer and getting ready for school year, I mentioned at the end of school year, maybe I can at our May meeting, that we have a reading campaign going on, and we've done a lot of things to prepare students before they went home. One of the concerns I have is always about summer loss. Students going home in the summertime, not reading, not engaging, and then losing some of that they've gained from the previous 15-16 school year. So we've been really encouraging students to read all summer long. When students went home this past at the end of May, we gave parents at home a letter to parents and to students showing them about how we measure reading through Lexiles. We gave a nice chart to show parents where students should be about. There's no specific place a child should be, it depends on the child, but just a range of where your child will be by the time they leave 5th grade and 6th grade and 9th grade and all the way through high school. And our goal is that when students leave high school, they are around 1,400 in their Lexile levels, because that means they can engage in college level text. I didn't say that they would go to college. I hope they will. If they don't, that's their choice, but we want them ready. I have a meeting with a student today. In fact, I was mentoring and just guiding a student of ours, and his Lexile score is, I'll say, beyond 1,300, and he's doing well, and he'll be back with us next year. And I'm just really excited to know students are understanding where their reading levels ought to be and owning it, because when they own it and know where they need to go, that's where I think the growth will really come. So that is a great thing. And then finally, we have our Back to School Festival on August 6th. And Mr. Fields and so many others have been, Mr. Hampton has been working really hard to prepare for our Back to School Festival. That's on August 6th, which is a Saturday. And we plan to have a great time and have all our community out to celebrate and get ready for the 16-17 school year. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. I do want to say I had an opportunity to attend the WashU Leadership summit, I'll call it. And Dr. Graves went, and I think Mr. Morris went, had an opportunity to go too. And just to walk into those classrooms and just feel the energy in there, and to look at if you looked around the room, everyone was engaged. Everyone's working hard. You didn't see people on their cell phones and doing different things. They were really working hard, and it made me really proud to walk in and to see that, and to see the quality instruction that was going on. So I want to say thank you too, again, for, without you reaching out to the community, we would not be getting these grants. So it's a very, very wonderful grant, and an opportunity for us, another staff development and training that we don't have to pay for.
Yeah.
And it's quality.
Yeah.
And it's quality.
And emphasize that is no cost to the districts, but that's even more, that's
Yes.
even nicer. Yeah. Thank you.
Love that. Free's good. Okay, at this time, it's time for our public comments. The board allocates this portion of the meeting to allow stakeholders the opportunity to comment on both agenda items and non-agenda items at the start of each board meeting. Prior to the public comment period, participants are asked to fill out a comment card. If you have not done that and you want to make a comment, fill out your card with your name, address, phone number, email address, and topic to be addressed. And you will be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak. Members of the audience who wish to speak to the board are requested to speak from the podium, identify themselves, and in keeping with District Policy 4054 and 4059 and personnel law, should refrain from making negative comments that are personally identifiable. While the board will not directly respond to speakers during the public comment period, the board president may make clarifying remarks at the end of the comment session. At this time, are there any comments?
Yes.
Ms. Burrow? Our time, are you ready to start? I think you fell asleep. Yes, we're doing it on the screen. If you want to wait, the time will go up on the screen.
Thank you, good evening.
Welcome
Back. Appreciate you being back, saying yes. Hi. You know, it took Nehemiah 52 days to build that wall. It took you 52 weeks to do what you're doing. Congratulations. The one thing I think that Nehemiah had, and I think you got the same thing as he said when Sambella wanted him to come off that wall for a party that wasn't right. He said, I can't come down. Don't you come down off that wall, sir. There are a lot of people in this room that are backing you, praying every day. At 3 o'clock today, I shut down what I was doing and I prayed for this board at 3 o'clock today. I don't miss a day calling out your name, even when you don't call me back. Just had to do that. I wanted to talk about, have any of you ever felt like you were unappreciated? And like that one person that felt like that a prophet wasn't wanted in his own town? Jesus, anybody felt like that before? There are some people, some parents over in the Central Elementary area who show you such appreciation for what I'm doing, for what the volunteers are doing over there, that I don't get a chance to feel like that. We are doing a summer camp, free of charge, that we have coding, we have chess, we are doing African dance.
They are practicing. Our African dancers are practicing for August 6th. We'll be there.
Jaji Bachili from Afliki Loho was supposed to be in Africa today. I called him up a month ago and I said, my kids want to get ready for the back to school. But Tony, you know, I got to go see my mom. I said, your mother's going to be there, come on. So he stayed over and he's leaving on Saturday. He has done a video so that the kids, like we did last year, will do the video to do the performance. It's amazing. We have Circus Harmony coming. We are seriously bridging the gap for the summer. When you've got parents lined up at 4 o'clock in the evening, waiting on their kids to come out, and the kids are saying, it's 4 o'clock already, when they don't want to leave. Today, I scooped up. We have, this is just from this week, reflections, because they're writing their own books. The American Association of University Women have come on board as the volunteers who are helping our kids work on writing a book of their own. I stopped by the library on the way here. We are joined up with the main library out in Frontenac and also with the Ferguson Library, and we are reading 20 minutes per day, every day. Tomorrow, it starts for 2 hours every day. They can't wait, and we're using our library in-house at Central. I just want to let you know what we're doing, and I want to tell you thanks for what you're doing. I want to give a big shout out to the lady over here. Miss Bland called to see what she could do for us, and we appreciate that. Haven't talked to her yet, but she's available to us. There's so many people that are helping us. I want to tell Terry O'Neill, thank you. So this is really a thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
We appreciate what you do too. Thanks, Tony. Ms. Butler, Sandra Butler.
Good afternoon. I just didn't get a chance to talk to Ms. Hogshead Monday, but because I have been one of your biggest critics, I also wanted to let you know I appreciate what you did Monday night when you advocated on behalf of the application process to make it as fair and as transparent as possible. I just want you to know I see you, I saw you, and thank you for that consideration. While I'm up here, I see Ms. Cook here. I also just want to mention quickly that the performance that her English students did at Ferguson Middle School, Raising in the Sun, was fantastic. And she is awesome when she works with the students, so thank you.
She is awesome. And who hired her? I'm just, never mind, I'm just saying. Okay, the consent agenda. The administration presents the following items for approval under the consent agenda. Mr. Secretary.
Disbursements, payroll, teacher and non-teacher, $4,448,278.73. Operational disbursements of $4,150,445.86 for a grand total of $8,598,724.59.
I have a motion.
We accept the consent agenda. Second.
Been moved by Ms. Hogshead and seconded by Dr. Graves to accept the consent agenda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, at this time, AP World History textbook purchase, Mr. Fulton. Come right on up.
Good evening, Madam President and the board, Dr. Davis.
Good evening.
With your permission, we would like to go forward to purchase Voyages in World History from Cengage Learning. This book meets the AP requirements. AP is advanced placement. It's run by the College Board. The College Board requires that in order for a teacher to have their syllabus approved, that they must use an AP approved book. An AP approved book must have an edition that is less than 10 years old. So we were adding AP World History this fall. And so I would ask your permission to move forward with these books. They are college level text, so they're kind of expensive, as you can see. They work to about $147 per book. With that, we get the text, online resources for 6 years, and then a softback book called Preparing for the AP World History Test. In that, you may see other books like this. Sometimes they're called Acing the AP Test or Getting a 5 on the AP Test. They have 2 or 3 AP former tests on them, and then have a very rigorous pacing and summary of the material. So, do you have questions?
Motion to approve.
I got a question.
Well, we gotta make the motion second.
Second.
Okay. The move by Mr. Ebert, second by Ms. Hogshead.
Question.
Discussion. Will this be available at all 3 high schools?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other discussion?
How long do you anticipate we'll be using this book?
Okay, so I would say the current rate is 10 years is what we usually do. So we haven't had online resources. We don't know what we're going to do when we get to that last 4 years. But usually we go 10 years with a textbook is what we have been doing.
Do you find that when we go 10 years that towards the end it gets to be a little bit obsolete?
Personally, yes. I think that's the case.
In your opinion, what timeline would you like to see?
I think 7 years. We used to do 6 as a district, 7, 8. It really kind of depends on the book and the materials. The good news about this particular book is we haven't purchased world history books, these college level texts, since 2007. So that's been a 9-year run. So it's not like we bought books last year and we have to replace them this year. So that's a good news.
Any other questions? Any other questions or discussion?
The 6-year online resources, I'm sure you negotiated well and all that, but you know, it'd be nice if you thought they were going to last 10 years or you're going to use them.
So
you couldn't get them to match that.
Yeah, so what I did is I did have a 10% reduction, and I did get them, it says 6, but now I recall, since I did this a month ago, it is 7 years.
Okay.
It's 7 years from this July, whenever we receive the books, which would be in July. So it'll be 7 straight years, thanks to the online resources.
And if you feel, and I'm sure, you know, it all comes down to money. But
Sure.
if you, you know, there's no sense in wasting time, you know, so, you know, I don't know what the board will be like in 10 years, but I mean, you know, it's not good for the kids to learn things that are outdated. So I'm really strongly against that. I mean, even if you have to turn it in a different direction or improve it yourself. But, you know, I just know that's the nature of the beast sometime, but still, you know, I wouldn't want my child learning something like that. So that's why I'm really interested on the online portion. And Rob, you always mention the online on just about everything. What part we get on that, because that kind of stayed really updated. So appreciate what you did.
I'll just add that those online resources, and not just with AP, but other resources that we would buy, those would be updated more often.
Right.
You tap into those, so that really makes a huge difference, because certainly textbooks are static, so once you buy them, they don't change, of course, but with history in particular, that certainly would be something that does change over time. The other part is, if you remember a couple of months ago, Ms. Weisel did a proposal for that we've been approved to be an equal opportunity school, meaning we will be identifying more students this year who are eligible or can take AP classes who traditionally would not have done that. And that's really important because many of our teachers are getting trained this summer to teach more AP classes in our schools. In fact, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch did an article on 3 districts, and us being one of them here recently, and I was interviewed by Elise, I forget her last name, she's a reporter for the St. Louis Dispatch, but just talking specifically about offering more rigorous courses, in particular AP, advanced placement courses, to students who would take it and those who traditionally would not. Identifying more students of color, but all students who could benefit from this curriculum. So that's something I'm really excited about, because I would like to see every child before they leave high school take at least one AP class and get credit for it, meaning that they don't just pass the test, but they master the content. That's the piece that I think is really important. So I just would add that, and this just ties all into it.
Right. And to piggyback on what Dr. Davis said, the teachers who receive the training, it's all for free because the state of Missouri pays for it. So that's really good news.
They also help pay for the Equal Opportunity School component as well. They gave us, I think, about $10,000 a school.
Yeah, we'd be adding $48,000 total for all three.
Yeah. So that was exciting to know that the state supported us in that way too.
And how will AP college prep courses help the family, Dr. Davis?
Yes. I'm so glad you said that. Because I cannot stress enough how important it is for families to get students to get college credit while they are in high school.
Hallelujah.
Because I just use this quick example. Thank you for reminding me of that, Mr. Ebert, because I have a nephew who's graduated this past Saturday in North Carolina high school. My sister's youngest son, one of my sister's youngest sons, and he took AP classes, and he's going to the University of Virginia, which is a pretty good school. $60,000 a year for tuition. He got $52,000 in scholarships, and that's because of his hard work in school and AP classes. He has, I won't say how many credits, but he has quite a few college credits. That's going to cut off some of the. So $60,000 minus 52 is $8,000 a year, and he's got some additional scholarships. So mom and dad are responsible for the balance every year. With those college classes, it may cut off a year. So in his case, it won't be as much because he's earned a lot.
Right.
But for traditional students or somebody who maybe not have done as well as he has, it could cut off up to a semester of tuition, or maybe a year. Let me say it differently. Mizzou is $22,000 a year. It could save you $22,000. So I really encourage our community to encourage our students, and this is really underscores what we're saying, that more students who take AP classes and get credit, college credit, the better they are, because I want students to come out of college debt free.
Right.
So, thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of accepting this purchase?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Dr. Forbes.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Annual bus route mileage. Hi there, how are you?
Pretty good. Jim Troxel, good evening. I'm the Director of Transportation, or better known as the bus guy. Anyway, I'm going to read this to you real quick. I passed all the routes. The board is being asked to give initial approval to the 2015-16 bus routes as annually required by the state of Missouri. All bus routes have been designed and implemented by the District Transportation Department staff, adhering to all laws and safety guidelines established by the state of Missouri for pupil transportation. I've attached a copy of all the mileage for each bus route in our district. It's basically the AM routes. What we do is at the end of the year, we double the routes, multiply it by 2, extrapolate it out for the number of days we ran, and we turn it to the state for reimbursement. And I didn't know if you guys had any questions. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have.
I move to accept the bus route.
A second.
Been moved by Ms. Harpstead and second by Mr. Chabot. Any discussion? Questions? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much. Food Service Training Manager, Dr. McMillan.
13.
Oh, you know what? This is the old one. I jumped ahead. Had my agenda ready already. Okay, Blackboard Inc. website hosting renewal.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
It's good to see you. I know this is probably different for you, for me to be speaking with you this evening, but and that's part of why we wanted to share this as an item rather than part of the consent agenda. Normally a renewal like this for the website hosting would be a part of the consent agenda. However, we all know that one of the major items that the transition team identified was that our website needed some significant work. And so we have had conversations and talked about that and moved towards that. So The administration is requesting that you approve renewal of our web hosting service. In addition to that, there are two other pieces, each of which would fall under the amount that would require approval. We wanted to bring it to you so you understand what we're doing. And that is Blackboard, which acquired Schoolwires, which acquired Edline, which is who currently hosts our website, approached us with an offer for discounted web redesign. And so by moving quickly, we were able to save the district $8,000 on their proposal for a web redesign. So rather than it costing $16,000, this will be $8,000 for the redesign of the website. We're very excited about it. It will be a custom design created for us. It will be responsive so that if you look at the website now on your phone, you realize that it is very rudimentary. It doesn't include all of the features that you can see if you look at it on a desktop or a laptop computer. And so this will allow that website to include all of the information that you see when you look at it at a computer. There'll also be another item, again, at a 50% discount, and that's $3,500 that will be for training for district staff to be able to manage the website once it's created. So, and you don't have those two figures on the agenda. We just received the contract this afternoon for those. But those discounts were only available through the end of this month, and we wanted to do what we could to try to save that money so that we could be fiscally responsible as we move forward with this opportunity. So, as I mentioned at the outset, administration is requesting that that the board approve the renewal of the website services in the amount of $44,380 or $438.65.
And we set the website renewal.
Second. It's been moved by Ms. Hogshead and second by Ms. Hart to accept the website renewal. Any special discussion?
It's more of maybe a comment. Has the district received any feedback? Like for instance, at home, whenever I type in the web address, it comes to Edline. I can't access the website, but from my office, I can, which is weird.
So it's probably, it's possibly a browser issue, it's possibly a cache issue on your computer, because if you from home type in www.fergflor.org, you'll go to our correct website rather than the Edline website.
But you have to type in www. You can't just do like Ferg-Flor because it just won't.
It depends. There's some places where you can get by with just Ferg-Flor and it will do it. And that just points to there are a bunch of issues with the way that our website exists right now, from the just from the ease of use to the appearance to our ability to do what we want to do to really be able to serve our stakeholders well, including you and our employees. It's a hassle right now.
So that would be fixed up in regards to how we can.
We're going to work with them to make sure that this does what we want it to do.
Okay.
Yes.
So I applaud the team for addressing this. I get a lot of comments about it, like you do, and the public is talking to a guy who has a flip phone, so I'm not really.
You're probably not doing.
Yeah, so I'm, so if you got 30 seconds, how does the whole website thing work? So what I mean is, somebody wants to put something on there. Are you the go-to person? I mean, like say I'm talking about principal or something. I mean, who? I know it's technology and Jadali and all that, but I mean, how does it?
He's kind of like the Wizard of Oz.
Right. He's probably not even here.
He's right behind you, actually, just like.
I feel him, but that's all.
So as far as the district website goes,
well, I get a lot of
Dr.
questions.
Jadali and his team have the ability to maintain that. I and Charlene Gostin, our communication specialist, are able to maintain the website. But then as you go out to individual school websites, each school has someone or a team of people who are able to maintain that website. And that was, as I spoke with Dr. Jadali's team, there were things that we could have done completely in-house, but the biggest concern was the ease of use for people out in the schools to be able to keep their websites current. And so that's a big part of, and really makes us, and makes it attractive because it will be easier for people at the buildings to be able to continue to maintain, rather than us creating something that would have to go through Dr. Jadali's office for everything.
And as we continue to grow and succeed, I can see that when we add 15 people to your apartment someday, that there could be really just one person that deals with all the social media factors. And it just seems like it's a hit and miss thing. Sometimes the public feels that way. That's what they tell me.
Sure.
And I try to fake it and say I know what you're talking about on all these issues. But I mean, yeah, I hear what Courtney's saying, because I get that a lot. My wife says it all the time. So this is a good thing going forward. Really going to help the district.
Kevin, just real quick question. I just thought about what Scott was saying in regards to social media. Are we going to have a centralized location where we're starting to post stuff? Or is it still going to be where you can catch something on Facebook, you can catch something on Twitter, or is our website going to really be able to hold what we're trying to hold? Because, I mean, it seems like to me that we're having information everywhere. So when I look at schools now, the schools are no longer using the websites. It's more of, now I gotta check to see if I need to be every school's Facebook friend.
Sure.
So I'm trying to figure out, or as a district, are we gonna have a centralized where as everybody, you must use the web page, or everybody's gonna use Facebook, or your Facebook page has to be linked to your web page?
So that's a good question. And so the simple answer would be for us to say, we're going to put all our information here, and if you want our information, come to that spot. The reality is that our stakeholders are not going to go where we tell them. They're going to go where they want to and where they're more comfortable. So what we have to do, and what we've been working towards doing, and this will be part of it, because I had this specific conversation with the representative from Blackboard. I said, I want to be able to embed our Twitter feed and embed our Facebook feed on the website, so that if someone doesn't go to Facebook or Twitter, they can still see that information there. But at the same time, it would be, I believe, a big mistake to not have that social media presence for all of those things, because kids are going to see things on Twitter and Instagram and Kik and other places where no one of our age goes. And you didn't hear me say Facebook when I was talking about the students. But when you talk about parents and parents and grandparents, Facebook is something that hits those folks more. And then there are a number of people who don't use any social media and just go online. We'll also continue, and in July we'll come back to you with the proposal for our school notification system, which we've been using School Messenger, and we think we will be able to come back with a reduced renewal for that, but that's another way. And so it's important to me and to our office and to you, I know, that we use all the tools we have to get the message out. And so that means using all those platforms. But I sincerely believe that this new website will let us have that as a place where you can find everything.
And the other thing too is, so I'm no savvy clerk when it comes to social media. I tweet some, a little bit better, don't have a Facebook page, but it changes, right? It's really dynamic. And one of the things that's important is for our website to look appealing. So when people go on it, it feels like a professionally done atmosphere that's fraught with lots of information, right? There's some sites I've never heard of. Did you say cake? Cake. Oh.
Yeah.
It'll be a cake soon.
That's a rock band.
So, the best we can do though, because I will have a superintendent's corner so that, I can say, here's the things that, I want to put there and people can go get information. But the more, I guess what I'm saying is the more feedback we can get from people in the community, the better we'll be, right? Mm-hmm. And then every day almost it changes. So this is an effort to really, be more transparent and then to try to communicate even better. I mean, you will never be perfect, but just keep trying. So, don't feel bad. You know, the kids don't watch these recorded meetings, so they think I'm a little smarter than I am on that stuff. And I just yesterday looked at my daughter's device. It had Kick on it. I said, "Who's Kick?" She says, "Me, Dad." So I just heard about it yesterday.
Any other discussion, questions? If not, all those in favor? Any opposed? If not,
Thank you.
so much. Okay, now, food service. And, okay. Hello, Mr. Drew.
Good evening, Board. Good evening, community. Dr. Davis. You're going to hear later on in my budget proposal that we are actually making a lot of money, not making a lot of money, but bringing in a lot of revenue for our food, free and reduced lunch revenue. And so that is because we're a community eligibility program now, and so we receive reimbursement for all of our students because all of our students eat free and reduced. However, that money has to be dedicated for food service, so we need to use that money in the cafeteria services and things like that. We are having a hard time with staffing, keeping staff, you know, in the schools, and so a lot of times our managers are not present in the schools during the day, and we've been having a hard issue with that. So one of the proposals that we would like to ask for is the addition, and this is two separate agenda items, but I'm just going to say it all right now instead of repeating myself. We'd like to propose the addition of 2 hourly food service manager positions. One is going to be a floating manager who will be in charge of compliance and training and be able to help go out to the schools and help our existing managers or the new managers that are in the schools. And she will go out and she can also fill in then whenever there's a need in the school that doesn't have a manager for the day. And then we would also like to have a manager in training. So there's a training manager and a manager in training, and that would also be a full-time position so that staff that's currently there that would aspire to be a manager could also learn how to be a manager. So it's two separate positions, but it's 2 separate agenda items also, but that's just for both of them. So that's what we're requesting, is the board to approve these 2 positions for our food service.
So I think we need to do a motion for both of them. So for both. So we have a motion for the training, food service training manager.
How do we, for the food service training manager?
Second. It's been moved by Ms. Hogshead and second by Dr. Graves to approve the food service training manager. Any discussion?
Yeah, you said they're full-time positions, they have benefits, but it's 177 days, so it's only a school year
That's correct.
position?
That is correct, yes.
So they just won't work during the summer?
That's correct.
Is there a risk here? I mean, looking at the salary, this is a manager, they're going to be involved in training other managers. Are we going to be able to find and retain somebody at this salary?
I thought of that also.
I believe that we currently have potential candidates on staff that are already working similar schedules that might be good candidates for this, as well as outside candidates. All of our managers' positions are currently 10-month positions, and while we have had some staffing difficulties with those positions this year, traditionally we have not. So I think that given what the position is, I believe that we'll be okay with the 10-month position. If we find that it isn't and there's an opportunity to make it a 12-month position, there's certainly additional training and other benefits that can provide to the district and the food service program.
And it's an hourly, so if they work longer, then they make more money because it's an hourly position.
And it's less than what the manager at each school makes?
Of the two new positions are going to create kind of a tiered system, an opportunity for advancement for our employees. So the training manager will be the highest paid manager, starting level would be the highest paid manager in the district. That would be someone that would go around and help assist other managers who might be struggling in certain areas, help train incoming managers. The manager in training position would be the lowest starting salary position, sort of a development program for people interested in becoming managers, and hopefully creating kind of a bench for us when we do have situations where managers leave throughout the course of the year.
So they wouldn't be able to work during the time period where we're doing the summer programs at the different schools?
Traditionally, our managers are the first employees that we look at for the summer feeding sites, and if they were interested, we certainly do. We conduct interview process for all those positions, but they would certainly be able to.
So that's considered like a separate position?
Correct, and it's at a separate pay rate currently as well.
Okay.
Any other questions or?
Yes, I see within the job responsibilities, their responsibility does not lie with writing the curriculum or the training manuals that come in.
Correct. We would still provide all of the information for training. It's going to be training on things that production records, food safety training, which is fairly standard industry-wide. So it'll be operational and safety training that already exists for our managers. It will just be a position that can help us go out and reinforce those positions with people in the field, as well as fill in the times when we do need some assistance.
Any other questions? Comments? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now for the food service manager in training.
I move that we accept the food service manager in training.
Second.
Motion's been made by Mr. Chabot and seconded by Dr. Graves to accept the food service manager in training. Any discussion or question? Not. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Bank depository agreement renewal. Joseph?
In May of 2012, the district selected United Missouri Bank through a bid process as the depository for payroll and expense accounts. This agreement is up for renewal in the final year this year, and we will be soliciting bids for services again in 2017. Administration is recommending that the board approve a one-year renewal contract effective July 1st, 2016, and authorize the president, superintendent, and secretary to sign the agreement.
Approve the agreement.
A second.
Been moved by Ms. Hogshead and seconded by Mr. Chabot to accept the bank depository agreement for 1 year, 1 year renewal. Any discussion? No questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Food service update. Williams and Laura, you're on tonight.
I am. It's the Laura Minter Show The district is completing a three-year of the 5-year contract. Oh, actually, it's a 4-year of the 5-year. We're entering into our 5th year, actually, with Aramark Food Service. Representatives Scott and Kelly and Tony from Aramark and the district are going to be presenting information regarding our partnership and accomplishments for the 2015 school year. Before I turn this over to Scott, he's going to go through our nutrition programs. But I do want to mention that they have been extremely busy these last few years. They've really been doing a lot of really great things. And we are part of the Healthy Schools, Healthy Community Grant in 5 of our schools. And there was some data that they sent back to the district. And one of the things that we scored the highest in and that I'm the most proud of is that our school district and all of the school districts that are participating in this grant scored 82% in nutrition. And the state of Missouri only scored 65.3% in the area of nutrition, and the national healthy schools scored 67. So we are head and tails with our nutrition program above other school districts. So I'm very proud because they really have been working hard, and the numbers are really showing it. So he's going to talk about it.
Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak to you today and to serve this community and this school district. My team and I are very honored to be able to be a part of this community, and we really enjoy the work that we've done here over the years. I would like to introduce my team. Our dietitian, Kelly Briscoe, has just returned from maternity leave, so she's back with us now. And then I think everybody knows Chef Tony. Chef Chef Tony, Kelly, and myself do make up the Aramark staff that does serve the district here. As a reminder, all other staff that works for the food service department is district staff. They are on the Ferguson-Florissant School District payroll, and we just oversee the program and manage the program. So we're in the 4th year of a 5th year of a 5-year contract, and the next slide I push. So I just wanted to go over a few of the things, accomplishments we've had this year. Aramark's mission statement as a corporation is to provide experiences that enrich and nourish lives. For us here, for my team here, that means doing much more than serving breakfast and lunch every day and providing snacks and things like that for our students. We really pride ourselves in being involved in the community and providing experiences to the students and the staff and community members that go beyond just feeding them meals 2 to 3 times a day. Some of the programs that we support, classroom education, Cooking Matters, where Tony and Kelly spend time with students teaching them how simple cooking techniques, usually an after-school program. ACES Gardens and the Growings programs, we provided 5 gardens per school for the elementary and middle schools this year, box gardens to use in their classrooms. Farm to School initiative, which I'll go into a little more later. Breakfast in the classroom, health fairs, the summer feeding program, which we're right in the midst of right now. Walk to school events, where we encourage students to walk to school and celebrate that physical activity and come to school before breakfast and hang out with ACE and teachers in the playgrounds and parking lots. Internships, PTO meetings, and then we spend quite a bit of time working on grant opportunities for the department as well. This year, probably the biggest highlight, the biggest thing that we've worked on is the Farm to School grant. We received a new Farm to School grant through the USDA through tireless work on the part of Kelly, which is really providing new opportunities for the district and the students. We are currently producing sweet potato muffins that we've served throughout they are phenomenal. We've served them throughout. We've served them throughout the district for breakfast, and got amazing feedback. Those are all produced by Ferguson-Florissant School District high school students using sweet potatoes produced here in Missouri. So we're just getting ready to start working on a few new products this summer that might be a little more palatable to everyone. But we've got some green beans that we're working on that are going to be provided with a seasoning packet with herbs and seasonings from Earth Dance Farms in Ferguson. And then we're also working on some, I believe, summer squash. This year we hosted our 2nd annual Golden Chef competition. I believe at the last board meeting we recognized the winning team from McClure, I believe it was this year. The students get really excited and are really phenomenal with their creativity and their professionalism during that event. We've hosted 5 walk to school events this year, and I think I'll go on to the next slide. Just some statistics. For the community eligibility program, we receive reimbursement for 92.5% of all meals served at the USDA free rate. And that's a large portion of the reason we're having such financial success in the program this year. That 92% is up 3% from last year. That is based entirely off of direct certification free reduced numbers for our community. Lunch participation this year was at 87% across the district. That's up 1% from last year. Daily breakfast participation is 68%, and that is up 2% from prior year. Total meals served per day, 15,738. It's actually down a few hundred from prior year, so that difference in participation percentage is due to decreases in attendance, I believe, and in enrollment for the district. Total meals served this year, through May, I'll add, we did not have any June information in here as of yet, a little over 2.7 million. We had a very successful year bringing grant dollars into the district this year. The fruit and vegetable program, which provides opportunities for elementary students to try new fruits and vegetables throughout the school year, provided $228,000 That's, I believe, was in 11 schools this year. The USDA Farm to School program is providing $91,000. That is what's helping us pay the students and purchase some of the produce that we're using to make the muffins and the marinara sauce we've done in the past, the green beans. We received a large amount of money from the Department of Elementary Secondary Education for equipment grants this year. Those are brand new ovens going into 5 schools currently. We received additional funds for a sixth oven. Those ovens are state-of-the-art combi ovens that will greatly improve the quality of our food, allow us to produce food quicker so that we are producing it more often throughout the day so it's fresher when we serve the students. So I'm very excited about that, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to put those throughout the district. And then there were 2 schools this year that received the U.S. Healthy School Challenge Award. Central and Walnut Grove received that. That is based partially on menus and the meals we're serving, but that's largely due to the efforts of the PE teachers and the staff in those schools. So I wanted to recognize them, although that is largely not in our hands, but those schools are doing a great job this year. So just under $500,000 in grant funds to the food service department this year. We also introduced some new meal programs to try to drive participation this year. We are piloting 2 grab-and-go carts at Cross Keys for breakfast, bringing the food to where the students are in the morning instead of relying on them to come to us. Through that, I think we increased 75 to 80 breakfasts a day at Cross Keys starting around January when we introduced those. We also introduced some grab-and-go breakfast bags that contain non-traditional breakfast items that maybe encourage those students who've already had breakfast to still take it since it's at no cost to them, and provide something for them to eat later in the day when we might not be available to provide food for them. We've also partnered with a marketing company to help with sampling and surveying events at our secondary schools using the Aramark Fuel promotions, which are specialized recipes offered 2 weeks throughout the month. We've come in and provided trays like this and talked to students and sampled with the students and really had great interaction, great student feedback and participation in those programs. Just a little bit about the Golden Chef program. This was the 2nd year for the competition. The winners were from McClure High School and produced a wonderful spinach biscuit, bacon biscuit. The spinach was sourced locally from Earth Dance Farm. The Farm to School program really is the one thing that we're really proud of this year. In addition to providing the food that our students are getting the industry knowledge and experience producing in our kitchens, we were also able to provide new school gardens throughout the district, including, I believe, a garden that's planned to go in at this building for the early education program and the pro program to use. We also I had the opportunity of going on a field trip with a 1st grade class to visit a dairy farm in Illinois and learn a little bit more about how cheese was made, and be with some of these children as they met pigs for the first time and cows for the first time. It was a really cool experience, and we intend to sponsor many more field trips through this grant. This was one of the really neat parts of the proposal that Kelly put together that the USDA was really excited about, was us being willing to take our students out into the farms and learn more about where their food comes from. So, over the last year and a half, the Department of Elementary Secondary Education, the USDA, have increased the requirements on continuing education and training for everybody in the food service department, from the food service director on down to every single one of our cafeteria workers. We've had the opportunity to bring in guest speakers to take some of our staff to trainings provided by DESE and the School Nutrition Association. So with the increased revenue from the CEP program, we've been able to provide more enrichment for our employees, including the new program that you all just approved that will allow us to provide a career path for employees of high potential that are really interested in pursuing careers in food service. This year is the first year we did not host Samaritan's Feet in the district as part of this contract, we elected to go in a different direction, partnering with the social workers and some other administrators throughout the school. We hosted our own winter warm-up event where we were able to provide fleeces, underwear, socks, laundry detergent, canned goods to many families in the district. I believe we had a little over 100 people turn out for the event. The reason we moved away from Samaritan's Feet is because we had fairly low turnout in the past, but with this event being able to do it on site here at the Administration Center and with the support of the social workers, we had a really great turnout, had a really great time interacting with the community, and we were really blessed to be able to provide that service to our community. We also took the smoothie bike out to the Ferguson Twilight Ramble this year and made smoothies and shared recipes for healthy smoothies with community members. And annually, Aramark provides $15,000 in scholarships to the district, as well as I believe it's $3,000 to support the backpack program that sends non-perishable items home with students. Financial performance, I won't share too much on this page, but highlight the fact that we are scheduled to return a little over $1.2 million, which is approximately 3 times the guarantee for the year. Great thing about that is that this year it's really going to be beneficial to have that money to help provide new equipment throughout the district, to help provide some of the updates to different schools, to provide the new positions and some additional training for our staff, as well as some employee recognition programs we hope to put into place for next year. You'll note the NVD's number up there is a national volume discount. That is the discount provided to the district based on Aramark's buying power with our vendors. So that's a discount that we receive and pass on to the school district in all of our food purchasing. That number is about $80,000 larger than what the actual fees paid to Aramark for the contract this year was. So just in that alone, there is a savings. It's just a brief statement about the Community Eligibility Program. This is the second year that we've been involved with the Community Eligibility Program. I know there was a lot of concerns about it going into the first year, but it has been a very good program for us. With the program, all of our students in the district receive breakfast and lunch at no cost. There's no applications they have to fill out. There's no paperwork. It's reduced stress on our staff. It's reduced stress on parents at home who have to worry about how to feed their kids. I think this is a great opportunity for our students. Again, we'll be participating in the program for the 3rd year. I believe it's a 4-year commitment, and then hopefully we'll be able to renew it following that. So the reimbursement percentage will stay 92.5%, but we have not seen an increase going into next year.
This was just for information only.
Yeah, just for information.
Just one quick question. So you said the grab and go breakfast, which was at Cross Keys, was a pilot program. So this year going forward, are we able to pilot that in other middle schools or?
The carts were a pilot program, so we have 2 carts in the hallways at Cross Keys. The grab and go sack breakfast we actually rolled out in all secondary schools, varying different degrees of success from school to school, but we intend to continue to do that, and we are currently over the summer evaluating whether or not it makes sense to pursue mobile carts in additional secondary schools.
Scott, my first year on the board was 2013, and as I recall, there was some very interesting questions asked of you in those days, in particular by the fella to my left. And but it's amazing what a job that you've done in providing for our students the way you have done. Because as you recall, there were some tough questions.
Absolutely.
And gosh, what a great job. And a turnaround, yes, to all of you. You are to be congratulated for that.
Thank you very much.
I just have a couple questions. You're doing a fabulous job, by the way. So Are you familiar with Marvina Miller, the farmers market manager in Ferguson?
I believe I've met her one time, but.
I know she had been trying to partner with various schools on developing, she's developing a lot of community gardens within Ferguson. She's been working closely with Ferg Middle on starting their garden and putting people pieces together for that. She's also writing a lot of grants. They're bringing on a dietary intern this summer. She's really trying to partner with the schools and develop different programs with them. She's partnered with Earth Dance as well. She's putting together a fundraiser called Farm to Table. That's going to be on August 14th. I'm not sure if you or the school district has interest. Tony Lanero of Savoy is overseeing the cooking of it, but they're using locally grown produce and developing a meal based upon that. It'd be great if somehow the school district could potentially get involved with that. But she would be a great resource because she's really trying to work within the community and promote healthy eating.
We absolutely will reach out to her.
Marvina Miller. If you need to get hold of her, you call my office. She works for me.
Okay, great.
But thank you. You're doing a fabulous job.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we move on? I want to say thank you too, and now we'll have Scott Williams and Lauren Drewton.
Good evening. DESI regulations require that school districts bid food service management contracts every 5 years. Airmark has completed the 4th of the 5th year of their contract operating the district's food service operation. A copy of the renewal contract has been provided to the board, and we are here to answer questions if you have any. The administration is recommending that the board authorize the superintendent to renew the contract with Airmark for the 2016-17 school year, and we will be bidding the service out again this coming year for next year.
I move we renew the contract.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Hogshead and seconded by Keith Brown to renew the contract. Is there any discussion, any questions?
For the community, it's the same contract we've had this last year.
Correct, we just have to renew the contract every year, rebid every 5 years and then with an annual renewal.
Any other questions, discussion?
Well, I just thought about what Keith said earlier. When I first came on the board, the year before him, it was really kind of a mess. I'd even made comments about bringing it in-house and Lauren knows that. I just hope, since you're not a district employee, you can tell his supervisors or whoever. I mean, I meant. Yeah. I mean, it's not a little bit a difference. So I come on the board wanting to help kids, and what do I get? Call after call about food. Not that food doesn't help kids, but I'm thinking, other things. And that was, my first year was all food stuff. And I never get that anymore. So I hope somebody up your chain can take a quick snapshot of 5 years ago and now. It's just unbelievable. So, kudos to all of us. Okay.
Doesn't hurt that we have Tony and Kelly.
No, I said full staff.
Yeah.
I thought I
Thank
said
you.
full staff. I'm sorry if I did.
It's mostly Tony and Kelly.
Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Welcome back.
Okay. Motion passes. Budget hearing. Norman Drusen.
Hi. Budgets are required to be approved by the Board of Education prior to the start of the new year. We can't have any expenditures if the budget hasn't been approved. It's a state requirement, and so I'm coming to you with a annual budget adoption for the 16-17 school year. There are several requirements. Actually, there's 5 requirements that are required to be in a budget, and I am happy to say that those 5 requirements are all being met with the budget that I am presenting to this evening. Included in the budget message, and so those 5 requirements are, there has to be a narrative style budget message that describes the important features of the budget, and whatever changes occurred throughout the year need to be described in the message. We need to provide estimated revenues by fund and by source with a comparison to the prior 2 years, and we also need to do the same thing with the expenditures. We need to provide the amount required for payment of interest, principal, and redemption of charges on the debt of the district, and then we provide a general budget summary. Those are the 5 key requirements that are required, and the auditors do look for that whenever they come to audit us. So included in the budget message, and you guys are going to get the cliff notes, I'm not going to read the budget message for you, but in the cliff notes we do say what the mission statement is, and we do develop the budget to support the mission and goals and objectives that are set forth by the Board of Education. We need to, so when we talked about revenue in the budget message, we talked about the different sources that we have. Now the district does receive 51% of revenue from local dollars, and the majority of this revenue does come in from property taxes. Our revenue assumptions were based for local tax revenue from the numbers that we had in December of 2015, because we don't actually receive the new assessment figures until mid-July from the county. So the numbers that I'm basing this budget revenue from are the numbers that we received in December. Now 2015 was a reassessment year, so I don't anticipate that there will be many changes in next year's assessments because they don't assess every year, they assess every other year. So the assumptions that I put into the budget were based on the 2015 assessments, and that was the same as what was in this current budget, where the real estate decreased by 6.83% for residential, but commercial real estate also remained flat. Now I'm hoping that in the next reassessment year that's going to go up, because we've seen a lot of growth in Ferguson. We've gotten a Starbucks, they've got some new apartment buildings going up, so we're going to see some increases in our assessments, but we won't see that until 2 more years because they only do that every other year. Personal property had increased by 4.5%, so there was really only a net loss of 1% that I used to calculate the property tax income, and that was just a result of a $218,000 loss for the district that I'm projecting. Now, sales tax is another large amount of local revenue that we receive, and basically we pay 1% of a statewide general sales tax, and it's to only go towards education. It's collected locally, but then the local establishments send that to the state, and then the state disperses it to school districts based on our weighted average daily attendance from the prior year. Now, as of April of 2016, which is the last numbers that I've been able to receive, Missouri sales tax was up by 4.24%. Compared to the prior year, which is great. So people are out there buying, the economy's turning around, so that is good news. However, because we are experiencing a steady decrease because our enrollment is continuing to decline, I am expecting to see a small increase of revenue, not a large one. So I just anticipated about $50,000. County revenue assumptions, we get 1% of our revenue from the county, and that's basically the largest amount that we get is from our state assessed utility, and that did come in higher this year. So I did put in a budget assumption that will continue, that trend will continue with an increase of $200,000 for next year. And then the state revenue assumptions, we receive 32% of our revenue from state resources. So although the state fully funded the formula this year, and it did bring in an additional $1.3 million, because of the formula is based on the weighted average daily attendance, which is declining. So I am expecting that we might see a $1.5 million drop in our state revenue. Transportation revenue, they did approve or appropriate additional revenue for transportation. However, I think it'll be about $625,000 again next year. The appropriation has to spread across a whole bunch of school districts, so the amount seems like it's a large amount, but when you divide it between all the school districts, it's really not. Early childhood special education is expected to be continued to be fully funded, and because as the expenditures increase, our revenues will increase as well. Now, our federal revenue assumptions, our federal funds are 9% of the revenue that comes into the district. The district did experience, as we've been talking about, a large increase because of the community eligibility program. However, overall, I think that our federal revenue is going to decline from this year to next year by about $500,000 because of our consolidated programs, which are Title I, Title II, and Title III. We had a large amount of carryover that we spent this year, so we received a lot of revenue because of those expenditures. That carryover is almost gone, and I don't think we'll have that large amount next year, so that will decrease. We are reimbursable through that, so that revenue will go down, but we will also not have those expenditures. And then other local revenue assumptions, revenue from other local, and that's the revenue that we receive from the tuition that we charge to the Normandy Collaborative School District and Riverview School District. And Riverview School District is anticipated to be accredited in the fall. So I do believe that we will receive some revenue from tuition for that, but I don't think it will be as much. So I did put a decrease to that revenue by $500,000. So also in the budget message, we need to talk about the different changes in the expenditures. During negotiations, we did agree to give a 4.3% increase for all employees. So this resulted in an increased expenditure of $2.3 million. And then we also anticipate that insurance is going to have to go up about 5% to keep up with the rising medical costs. And that increase to the budget was $840,000. Sorry, these are really small, but Dr. Davis has been working very hard to provide supports for instructional leaders, and so we did add some positions for instructional supports. We did a little swap. We had some administrative interns that were out there. We had 6 of them. We eliminated those positions and made those into assistant principals. So although it was 6 elementary principals positions added, it was really only a net cost of $135,000. We also added 3 data strategists who are going to be able to provide instructional support to the leaders and provide information so that we can help our students learn better. And that was a total cost of $309,000. We have 1 executive director of professional learning and leadership, and that position is added because we need to be able to provide support for this evaluation system that we have. It's very tedious and time consuming, and this position will help alleviate some of that stress from the principals and be able to let the principals be more in the classroom where they need to be with the teachers and helping them teach. And this person can take that on. So that was an additional cost of $160,000 with materials and everything. And then we provided 17 instructional support leaders, but those replaced 17 teaching method coaches, and so they didn't receive any additional funds. It's just a swap, and those positions are actually funded through title funds. And then we did add 1 director of family and community engagement. And this is a liaison between the community needs and the district. We think this is really going to be helpful with us in the future and being more proactive to the community needs. We eliminated the community school and adventure club. The adventure club is being taken over by the YMCA, so that did say that took a big cost away from the district. And with that cost, we were able to add this director of family engagement. And so we actually netted a revenue of $30,140 on that one. The district, and how are we going to pay for all of these things? So the district experienced a large turnover and attrition of close to $2 million. We had 42 certified resignations, 26 certified staff retirees, and 22 support staff retirees. We didn't fill all those positions. We looked at all the positions we had, and some of them, we have declining enrollment, so we didn't add back all of the teachers, and we didn't add back all of the custodians, and but then the ones that we are adding back are coming in at a much lower cost because we had some really experienced teachers. So we were able to save on some of those teachers about $40,000 a person. So that was quite a significant savings. So the district will continue to review all our positions as they open to determine if these positions will be filled, and we'll continue to look for savings in those areas. I reduced in the budget message, I talked about how supplies and purchase services were reduced because by $1.1 million. And again, that goes back to the title funds and all of the carryover funds that we spent. So we're able to experience a large reduction of expenditures because we won't have that carryover money to spend for next year. So the revenue requirement of the budget, it talks about how we need to report the revenue. We slice and dice the revenue in many different ways in this budget so that you can see exactly what that revenue is. Revenues that come in, we have to report the revenue by source, and what that means is how is that money coming in? So a source is it comes in from local, it comes in from county, it could be state dollars, federal dollars, or other. It's kind of hard to see on there, but like I said before, 51% of our funds come in from local, 32 come in from state, 9 come in from federal, 7% come in from other, and 1% comes in from the county. And we broke it down in the budget. You'll see that you can go back and look at the actual 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, and 16, 17 by source. And as you see on the bottom, our revenue is hanging out around $130 million for next year. And then we also have to report our revenue by fund. And basically what that means is we have 4 different funds that we put our money into. The general fund pays for everything under the sun. The special fund we use to pay for teachers and their salaries and benefits. The capital and bond funds can only be used to buy equipment and do facility upgrades. And debt service is used to pay our interest and debt. And those 35% of the money goes into our general fund, 57% goes into special, 6% goes into capital, and 2% goes into debt service. And as you can see there, it's like 48.7 million goes into general, 78.1% goes into special, 430,000 goes into capital, 2.7 million goes into debt service. And then we also have to report our expenditures in the same way. So we report our expenditures by function, and basically what that means is where is that money being spent? So 57% of our money is being spent on instruction, 10% is being spent on student services, which are our counselors, our nurses, our social workers. 11% is spent on administrative services, 14% is spent on facilities, 5% is spent on our transportation and food service, 1% is spent on their community services, and 2% is spent on our early ed services. And then as you break it down, I broke it down by numbers, you can see that $67.4 million goes into instruction. So basically, instruction, student services, and instructional support, all of that money goes into the classroom, and that's $87.5 million. And then there's building administration and general administration at 9.2 and 5.6. Operation of plant was $15.6 million, transportation 3.4, food service was $6 million this year, early ed is 2.9, community services was 1.3 for a grand total in the operating funds of $126.8 million. And then we have to break out our expenditures by object. And so basically, 43% of our funds go to certified salaries, 16% goes to non-certified salaries, 20% goes into benefits for both of those. So that's a total of 79% that goes to salaries and benefits, and that's 79% of our budget. And then 7% for both goods and services, goods, materials, and then 7% for purchase services. 5% goes to equipment, and 2% goes to our debt payments. So looking at our revenue expenditure summary, that's also provided in the budget, you'll see that we're going to anticipate it to start the year at $30 million. We'll bring in $130.5 million. We'll spend $137.9. And that's total, that's with our bond funds and everything. So that'll leave us with $30.5 million as a fund balance. However, for our operating funds, we'll bring in 126.8. We'll spend 126.8, which will leave our operating balances at 19.9%, which I'm very proud of. And so you can see, looking at it on the graph, you can see how the blue, you can see our revenue has went up a little bit, and then it's kind of starting to drop. However, our expenditures have went down and then came back up. So now we're having a balanced budget there at the end, which means our fund balances follow the same pattern. So we're anticipated to have a balanced budget at the end of June of 2017. Administration will continue to review all expenditures, revenue and expenditures throughout the year, and we will continue to evaluate all expenditures to ensure that we have the adequate resources that we need to provide our students with a great education. I will brag on Dr. Davis. I'm very proud of him because he's the first superintendent I've ever known that we sit in cabinet and people will bring their expenditures to cabinet and we dice and slice them and figure out, we really dive deep, as he would say, into those expenditures to see, is this something that we really need? How will this benefit our kids? Can we put out a survey? How is this going to impact? And he really does a great job with that. It's just amazing. And it's just, some of our other superintendents just said yes to everything. And I'm just really proud of you for your critiquing. You just really critique everything, and I appreciate that. It makes my job easier because I'm usually the mean person, so you take that load off my shoulders. I appreciate that. So administration requests that the board approve the 16-17 budget.
I move we approve the 16-17 budget.
I second it.
So moved by Ms. Hogshead and seconded by Mr. Brown to accept the budget for the 16-17 school year. Any discussion?
Yeah, Laura, 2013, when you made this report, the members of this board walked out of this room depressed. We're coming back. And it's such a relief to begin to see it moving in the right direction. And the one thing I wanted to ask you, you did mention that $40,000 perhaps is what you might save on a senior person leaving and a very junior person taking over the position. Can you give me, and I'm putting you on a bit on the spot, and I don't mean to do it, so a reasonable estimate in terms of those types of hirings, how much money we actually have been able to save?
We saved $1.6 million on that. On the people that we brought back, you know, it was $1.6 million. The people that left, when I added up the certified staff, it was close to $4 million that left. And that includes principals, so.
Thank you.
I just want to say I'm pleasantly surprised and relieved. I know with all the hiring, the transition, the reorganization, I've been concerned. I've been quietly concerned, and I've been kind of waiting for this day. And so I'm thrilled to see, you know, where we're at for the school district right now. It's pretty solid. So thank you. And you may not be aware, but the county came in the last 2 months and did a commercial property reassessment in Ferguson.
Great.
They dropped it 20% across the board.
They dropped the assessments 20%?
20% reduction in property values in Ferguson.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the good thing is a lot of it's probably in Hazelwood School District's improvement. Because of the way the boundaries work. But you know, it's been amazing that in the last couple of years there have been 80 new businesses that have opened up in the city of Ferguson. New construction is happening. And when I sat through the budget meetings with the city, and I kept remembering the conversation you came, and it might have been last year, and you talked about the increased revenue, the sales tax revenue in Ferguson has actually gone up. And I said, you know, the numbers I'm getting from the district is different than what you're telling me, because they're painting a very bleak picture of what's happening in the community. And so, yeah, it's coming. It's been done. You know, I sent out requests to business owners to contest that reduction. Go back and say, no, I don't want you to reduce my property value by 20%. They all laugh at me. But that's coming. It was a 20% basically across the board reduction in commercial properties. We've gone Halls Ferry, which is going to be to Hazelwood and Riverview, West Florissant corridor, and South Florissant corridor, which is the main business district. Yeah, it could have been because of Emerson Electric. People were reassessing, you know, contesting it. They also felt because of the unrest, the riots that took place, the property values of themselves had plummeted, but they had already, I mean, we saw the numbers, there's been a decrease.
Right.
It's also amazing that, I can get in trouble for saying this, that it's election year. And everybody likes to have lower property values, or property tax.
Right.
But that's coming. It probably won't affect the school district a whole lot because of the overall value.
Thanks. Thanks. Okay, that balance might not be 19% next month. Sorry. This budget changes every month, so you know.
I just want to say thank you, Laura, for all of the work that you do. I mean, this isn't easy. I don't know how you do all this, but thank you for your hard work. And I'm like Mr. Chabot. I was a big concern because we were adding so much, and this is wonderful. It's so good to hear this. I missed the number for our reserves. Is it for next year? Would it be 20%?
It's close. It's 19.9%.
Yay! That's really good. Thank you so much. Any other discussion?
Like I said with Scott, you know, compared to 5 years ago. Now, your balanced budget, does that mean we won't have to borrow money?
That's correct. And I'm happy to report we didn't borrow this year either.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
kind of was paging through some of this, read it all, but I know you're on it. One thing I did notice, and I don't know if it's a projection or could you explain it, it looked like the teacher-student ratio is going up in a lot of the schools, not by much. So, I mean, of course, that's a projection versus actual. And I know you're on the conservative side on a lot of things. So, you know, I noticed that. I don't know what math you guys are using. That's just something that really stuck out to me. Not a lot. Again, you know, it's better to always overestimate or whatever, you know.
That's those state standards.
Compared to actual. Well, you have class size, so you're not going to go over that. I mean, that's just politics. So but, you know, on that one sheet, how you had, it shows the actual one that you could track, you know, and then the projection was going to be a little higher.
For the staffing projection.
So you know which one I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. And the only other thing I said, yeah, I know it's on the third leg of the elephant. I kind of got a little tear going down, you know, when you see that big budget. I know we're balanced, but 2% to early ed. You saw that too? Oh, I mean, you know, it's great, but we definitely it's got to be on one of them legs. So, you know, and the trauma carry coming. I love you, Courtney, for that. I know you're on it.
Well, I can't say I'm on it because, you know, these budgets are larger for K-12, right? And that's the, you know, pre-K, right, if you will. And, you know, the campaign to raise the cigarette tax or tobacco tax, certainly that's something that can help from a state perspective. You know, every state's different. You know, I'm from a state where, you know, there was a different funding structure. So, you know, I can tell you how a lot of this gets done because Laura's on Saturday and Sunday working. And she just combs it, you know, goes in and out of it, and I appreciate that about her because you have to ask those questions, and she'll give you a solid answer whether you want to hear it or not, and that's good because you have to keep pushing, and we have to keep tightening our belts. You know, one of the things we have done when we look at the positions, because I want to make sure that, you know, publicly I say this, that, you know, when we did the reorg, one of the things I tried to do was look at what we already had in place and what's different. So a lot of it was reorganizing so it makes sense for the organization, right, and not people. And you want to make sure that, you know, whenever you reorganize, that it will move the organization forward. And I've gotten a lot of questions from people about, you know, when people are applying for jobs and all those kinds of things. But we always try to make sure that we think about how will, you know, whatever we add impact what's going on in the classroom. And the focus has to always be there, right? And so we're going to keep, you know, trying to be fiscally responsible, tightening our belts. Some positions we haven't filled back, and we'll keep watching that, you know, because again, like you said, it changes every month. But, you know, one of the things I think is really important in this moment, especially pertaining to some of what Rob said, was, you know, with the assessment for commercial properties going down and, you know, the economy is recovering slowly maybe, you know, we're going to have to take a strong look at, you know, our district and the numbers of schools that we have and the districts that we have. There may be a need in the near future to redistrict and maybe even combining some schools with the sizes. So, you know, there are a lot of things that may happen. And I just want to sort of throw that out there now because we have to remain balanced. And it may mean that we have to operate fewer buildings. You know, with making Berkeley Middle School a 6-8 school, some of our, 4 of our elementary schools are being reduced in terms of numbers. And it could be that we have to think about that in the future. So I just want to throw that out there now as we continue to be fiscally responsible and conservative. I'm a conservative Democrat, I guess you can say, but yeah, we want to be tight.
Also, I don't know where this fits in the budget, but I did want to mention that maybe it's the first time I've seen it on all the poster boards about this substitute teacher fair or whatever. You know, and that's always, Leslie's always hit on that about the substitutes, and you know, I'm glad to see that there's focus there too. So, you know, not just missing, you know, like we say, missing a day here and there. And kids just come in and draw pictures and stuff. You know, they have some real good subs there. I know it's difficult for every district, so it's not just us. But when I saw that, believe it or not, I actually had some calls from people. You know, I don't know, is it the first time it's been on all the signboards? Have you guys noticed that on schools? I noticed it. I don't know. I hadn't seen it before, and that's what brought calls to me, you know, like, in fact, I was kind of embarrassed the first one I got. Where, what? But that'll be part of that new webpage, hopefully, and all that stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
I just want to finally say, I just want to give Laura and her team, Sue, and all the books in finance a hand for the hard work that they do.
Any other comments? If not, all those in favor of accepting the 16-17 budget? All those-
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Thank you very much. And you're done with me.
Might rest a little bit.
Yeah. Ferguson-Florissant School District receives the Governance Team Award. Congratulations to the Ferguson-Florissant School District for achieving the Missouri School Board Association 2016 Governance Team Award. This recognition, achieved by only 15 of the Missouri's 518 public school districts this year, is based on the outstanding commitment to ongoing professional development, to the regional and statewide leadership, and to active participation and legislative advocacy for the public schools by your school board and superintendent. So this is the plaque that we received, which was on the wall, and you want to read that?
Sure. So it reads, the Missouri School Boards Association presents the 2016 Governance Team Award to Ferguson-Florissant R2, and it names myself and all the school board members, Paul Morris, Keith Brown, Rob Chabot, Scott Ebert, Courtney Graves, Leslie Hogshead, and Donna Paulette Thurman for promoting excellence in public school governance through professional development, leadership, and advocacy. Congratulations, board. Give them a round.
Board of Education meeting locations. At the May 11th board meeting, the members of the board decided to hold 3 of the regularly scheduled board meetings in 2016-17 at various school locations throughout the district. The purpose of the meetings being held at school locations throughout the district is to give community an opportunity to attend the meetings. The chosen locations and dates for 2016 are Airport School, September 17th, 2016. September 14th, 2016. Bermuda Elementary School, October 12th, 2016. And Combs Elementary School, May 10th, 2000. That's not right. That'd be 17. You have an issue with the dates. That's okay. 2017.
I move we accept the meeting locations for the 2016-2017 school year.
It's been moved by Mr. Chabot and seconded by Dr. Graves to accept the meeting locations for 2016-2017. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Any opposed?
God, no. Go ahead.
Any opposed? If not, the motion carries. And at this time, we are going to adjourn.
We adjourn into closed session.
Moved by Ms. Hogshead, second by Ms. Hart, that we move into closed session. We are in adjournment. We're going to stand. We're done.